Okay, so I'm going to fix the issue that I had in the last video with this example here. The problem was is that when you have the surface area, and because I made it the question, and the surface area is equal to 2 pi r squared, which is the top and the bottom circle, and then plus 2 pi r h, which is essentially the area around the outside. What happens when you actually search for or find the first part of the equation here? So 2 times pi r, which is 13 squared, so we're going to do 13 squared first, times pi times 2, and I end up with 1061.86. Now, what I had before is I had picked a surface area that was equal to 59. Well, the top and the bottom areas of just the circles are larger, way larger than 59, so you definitely can't have that. So that was the issue. So that's the first part of the equation. The second part, which is 2 times pi times my radius times my height, which I don't know, so I'm going to leave that just 81.68 h. So like I showed before, we subtract off the 1061. My surface area is above, which is 2000. So I take 2000, subtract off 1061.86, 938.14, and that's equal to 81.68 h. And all I have to do is divide both sides by my value in front of my variable. 81.68 divided by 81.68, which is 11.49. And that would be in centimeters. And that's equal to my height. Now I had a question too from a student about what happens to the centimeters. Why is this one centimeters squared? And why am I allowed to take 2000, which is centimeters squared, and subtract this 1061.86, which we don't know? She thought it was centimeters. But it's kind of interesting when we go through this part here, and more importantly, the r squared. Now my radius is in centimeters, and when I square that value, it ends up getting to centimeters squared, which in turn allows me to subtract off that value from 2000. So if 2000 is definitely centimeters squared, this value here is also centimeters squared because we squared the radius, which was 13 centimeters. Very, very good question. And it is kind of important to think about units, because often in math we always throw in the units at the end, but we don't often, in physics they do often carry the variables through, or the units through, and definitely in calculus we do too. So it was a good question, and it's really good to think about. So hopefully that explains what the errors were for that example there, and that can help you on the assignment.